I recently learned the easiest and fastest way to collect form submissions from your website without writing any backend code at all. Whether you're building a portfolio website, a feedback form, or a small business website, you're going to love this. We're using a service called Web3Forms, which lets you send form data of your website directly to your email inbox. No backend required, you just write clean HTML, JavaScript code, or React, whatever language or framework you are using. For today's video, I will use React, and don't worry, it also works for HTML and JavaScript. So let's start. Let's start by building a simple form element. So I'm going to have a form element like this, and what do I want to have inside this form? Let's say, for the sake of this video, I want a name, email, and message from the user. So let's go ahead and do this. So this is it. This is a very simple form for our website. So let's go here to our browser, and there it is. I'm going to apply a little bit of styling to this. I'm just going to go back to my code, go to the app.css, and for example, first of all, let's give it this form a class name of form. I'm going to simply apply simple CSS just to make the layout look better. So this is the dot form. I'm going to make it a grid, so displays grid. I'm going to have grid template columns. I want to repeat 2 times 200 pixels. Like this, I will have each column, I will have 2 columns of 200 pixels. And now let's apply a row gap of, for example, 10 pixels. So as you can see, simple styling. Of course, make sure you style it on your own for your own website. But for the sake of this video, we will keep it very simple. So yeah, this is it. This is our form that we need. Now let's go ahead and set up the Web3Forms. First, I want you to go to the official website of Web3Forms. This is it. I want you to go ahead and click on create your form, and it will open for you this welcome page. So here we need to give it our email to make an account in Web3Forms. Now, for the sake of this video, I will be using a temporary email, and it will be this one. Now, of course, you make sure you use a official or your original email, and make sure the email that you paste in here will be the email that you want to receive form data to it as an email in your email inbox. Okay, so now let's press on set verification code, and let's wait for the verification code. I will go back here to my temporary email, and this will be my verification code, so 193803. So let me type it, 193803. Like this will be my verification code. I'll press continue. Now just click on these checkboxes and press on continue. You'll get the free version. Now here, just give it a name, for example, my form tutorial. That's that one. And right here, domain name. If you don't have a domain name, just type localhost. So localhost, like this, and press on create form. And this is it. You have everything ready. Your form is ready. You will get an access key, and this access key is used by Web3Forms to identify you, okay? And you can see here there's quick examples to start with. It offers you an HTML code, a JavaScript code that you will use, and a React code. Now, because I'm using React, I'm going to use the React code. But of course, make sure if you're using HTML and JavaScript to use the following code offered by Web3Forms. Now, let's go ahead and go to React, because I'm using React, and I will copy all of this. And I'm going to go ahead back to my code like this, right here, and paste the code I got from Web3Forms. And there it is. Now let's adjust a few things. Inside my form element, I want to go up here and say on submit like this. And I will give it the handler, which is the on submit function. Just to not get confused with it, I will name it handle submit, like this, just to not confuse with this function and the attribute. So right here, I'm going to say handle submit. So here's the deal. What will happen is that when you press the submit button, this handler will be executed. So the following code will be executed, and the magic will happen. What will exactly happen is that the user input that was given in your website will be taken or fetched, and it will be returned to your email inbox. How amazing is this? So let's go ahead and explain line by line what's happening here. So at first, you're creating an asynchronous function, and it's called handle submit, and you have this event parameter right here, which represents the form submission event. Now the prevent default right here, it is used to stop the browser from reloading the page, since automatically when you submit a form, the browser reloads. So here we're just preventing it. On this line, we have the form data, and it is a data type that stores input fields as key value pairs. For example, name and input of the name. And the key here comes from these attributes below, right here. So for example, I'm going to give you a simple example. This key value pair right here, name, and what was the input? For example, John Smith. So this name right here is the attribute from this input field. All right, so this is what the form data will do. And the event.target right here represents the actual form element. And when you pass it to the form data, automatically form data will fetch all of the inputs of these form fields and will put it inside a key value pair. Now right here you are manually adding a key value pair, which is the access key, and the access key provided by Web3Forms. Now again, this is used to identify you, to identify who is actually doing the submission. Now next we have the response. First of all, this fetch function will actually send a request to this endpoint, which is used by Web3Forms to get your submissions. So the methods used here is post, and the body is form data or the actual data you want to submit. And again, you'll get a response. This response will either be success or fail, depending on what will happen internally. And after this, we have the data part, or this data variable, which stores the response.json. What you're doing here is you're reading this response as JSON. And think of JSON as a key value object. It stores key value pairs. And the one we're interested in is data.success. It is a key inside this JSON file, and it has a value of Boolean. Either it's true or false. If it's true, that means the response was a success. Let me write it more simply, success. And if it was a fail or failure, then the response failed. And what we're actually doing here is that we are setting the result, this result variable, we're setting it to either be success or failed. So yeah, this is it. This is what we need for this form. Now, before we continue and test this out, let's go ahead and do one more thing. If you want to display on your website for the users whether your form or their submission was a success or not, let's go ahead and see how we could do this. So to do this, I'm going to create another React hook, and I'm going to name this show result. I will name the function set show result, and this will be a Boolean. So I'm going to say use state, and at first let's set it to false like this. Now I'm going to go down here, and when I get a submission, I want to do the following. I want to set the show result. I'm going to set the show result variable here to true. This means I want to show whether the submission was successful or not. So let's go down here, and what I'm going to do is the following. First of all, I want to check if this show result is equal to true. So I'm going to say the following. Show result like this equal to true, or without this, I'm going to say show result. If it's true, I'm going to use this ternary expression, and I want to do something else. But if it's not true, then I'm just going to say null, okay, nothing. Now inside this, what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to use this result variable to check whether it is success or failed. So I'm going to say something like this. Result, or if result equal to success. If it is, I want to return a paragraph that says success, that's it. And if it is not a success, I want to return a paragraph that simply says failed, that's it. So I think we are ready to see what will happen when we give it input. So I'm going to go here and say, for example, John, and let's say the email will be John Smith, for example, this one right here. And let's write down our thoughts. So for example, I don't know, anything, okay? Now the moment of truth, let's hit on submit. And look at this, it actually succeeded. That means the submission was a success. If I go to Web3Forms, and by the way, just go ahead and click on go to dashboard. Like this, you will see your dashboard and how many submissions you got. Now we have 1 out of 250. Now the limit here because of the free version is 250, but either way, we have 1 submission. Let's go ahead and go to our email and see what is the submission, where it is. There it is, notifications. You will receive the submission of your users from this email. So go ahead, click on this. Let's see our submission. So the name's John, this is the email, and this was the message of our user called John. So there you have it, Web3 Forms. You use this website to gain input from your form data and receive it directly to your email inbox without using any backend code. So comment below what do you think of this method, and make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.